everybody. I am David Austin, and welcome to Championship Rounds, brought to you by Red Owl Boxing here at the great facility here in Houston, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, how about you know the rules, championship rounds, and there are only three of them. You know what they are? We save the fighting for the ring. We touch them up before and after, and we protect ourselves at all times. We have a great show for you guys. We have with us here today. We're going to have a couple of great people, of course. We're going to start it off with none other than the Sarge himself. We're talking about a gentleman who was the last American heavyweight to win gold. He did that at the Seoul Olympics. Former WBO World Heavyweight Champion. My God, the merciless one, Ray Mercer. How we doing, baby?
Oh, man, we're doing good, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. I tell you what, there's a lot of ground to cover, so we're going to just get right to it. First of all, how's life out there in North Carolina?
Everything is great, man. Everything is great.
I actually, believe it or not, I did actually wear a Carolina. I brought the powder blue jacket that I was going to wear for you today, but my Texas pride couldn't do it. I took it off and tossed it on the floor.
Well, you know what? You did it right, because that's not my colors either, man. I live here in North Carolina. Team is Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, we'll get into that in just a bit. But how about, we know what's going to happen to them tomorrow with the Bills, but Monday. So here we go.
Yeah,
let's start here. There are a lot of things going on, in the world, period, but especially in the world of boxing. But being in an Olympic year, that's obviously going to be a big thing. We just had the Olympic trials, here recently as well. For you having one goal, in the Olympics, what is it like for you when that time comes around every 4 years, when you see, America getting geared up for it? Does that bring back those feelings for you?
I mean, it brings up. I mean, it makes my blood curl, man. It's just. It's just amazing, man, to just know that I went through this, and just know what that our fighters are going through right now, getting ready to go through what I went through, and it's just exciting, man. And I actually want to go over to the Olympics this year, so I'm gonna try to get over there to support. But it's a great feeling, man, walking around Olympic year, Olympic time, and being a gold medalist, man. It's nothing in the world more special than that to me.
Right. You didn't get the early start in boxing that a lot of guys do, that a lot of the boxers, get a chance to do. And so for you to accomplish what you did, is even more impressive. But I will ask you this, with the military background, because you got started boxing, at the age of 23 in the military, with the military as part of the backdrop as well, as being at that age when you started, where some people might look at that as a bit of a disadvantage, I would think that in some ways it was also an advantage having the discipline and the age, to go along with that as you were training and learning the game at that time.
I think so too. I think, the matter of fact, without the military, I don't think I'd have won a gold medal. I don't think I would have. I don't think I'd have been close, man. But I have to give it to the military for, teach me how to be a man. For when I first joined, I was in the military for 3 years before I even put on a pair of gloves. So they disciplined me, and then they instilled in me that I can do anything or be anything that I want to be. And I just got into boxing. After being in the Army for 2 years, I put on a pair of gloves, and it just took off from there. 5 years later, I'm winning a gold medal in the Olympics. So I have to give all the credit to the military, man. I really do. I mean, you got the guys out there, civilian guys. They don't have it as easy as I had it. I had the military to feed me, house me, and it was all for free. I mean, it's all for behind the military. And the civilian life, you got to pay your own way and all that. So, I think it's twice as hard for them. The military for me was the easiest way to go, and I would suggest anybody out there stay in the military if you want to go to the Olympics, because they will help you get there. I mean, it was just great. Without the military, I wouldn't be the man that I am now, and I think that you know what I'm talking about, you being a soldier too.
Absolutely. I am David Austin, ladies and gentlemen. This is Championship Rounds, brought to you by the Red Hour. And ladies and gentlemen, so we're here talking right now to the merciless one, former world heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist Ray Mercer. So Sarge, as we talk about that, you've done both, and that's not an easy thing to do. You won gold medal in the Olympics, and you eventually had the strap around your waist as a world champion. Which of those things was the greater accomplishment to you?
Winning the gold medal by far. Other than my kids being born, man, winning the gold medals, I think it'd be the best thing that can happen to anybody, man. I mean, especially when you 5 years before then, you never knew what you're gonna be, if you're gonna be in boxing or anything. So, for 5 years, for me to do it 5 years, man, and like I said, I would recommend anybody that's in the military, if you want to go to the Olympics, that's the best road to go, is to stay in the military. And then if you don't make that, then you can just go ahead on and retire. And the military is the best thing. I try to get my kids, my sons, to go in,
Right.
my 2 daughters to go in, but I guess it wasn't for them. But I would suggest that everybody, that's trying to get to the Olympics in any sports, get the military behind you. And then too, you're back in your country. You're fighting for your country in two ways: military and whatever sport you're in. When you go to the Olympics, you're fighting the world.
Well, I tell you, and you did that greatly. Obviously, that's why you got the gold medal. So then, we get into the professional career, for Mercer, and you go on, you win the WBO World Heavyweight Championship, and so you defend that title against Tommy Morris, right? I'm sure it's something that you've talked about, ad nauseum. You probably talked about it a million times. And so we all know, you hear this on everybody's, top 10 most vicious knockout lists and everything else and all of that. I have a question for you.
All right.
Have you ever yourself, because it's been viewed millions of times, you can go to YouTube and all that stuff, social media, it's been viewed tens of millions and hundreds of millions of times. Have you yourself ever gone and pulled it up yourself? Have you ever taken your phone or your computer and put in the words Ray Mercer knocks out time, typed it in and pulled it up? Have you ever done that yourself?
No.
Why not?
I don't, because I see it. Everybody else says it to me, show me everything and all that. I've never looked myself up. I mean, I got, you got your grandkids around and your kids around, and they're looking you up and they're saying how much you're worth, and you're worth $2 million and all. I'm like, look, how come I can't get none of that money if I'm worth all that? I mean, that's as far as I go with that right there. But I never look up anybody. I've told people they can Google me. I've told them that.
Right.
But I don't sit there and look at myself at all.
Well,
I don't know why. I just don't. I mean, I guess I'm me. I know everything.
One of the things about that bout, right, was the fact. Okay, one of the things about leading into that bout was about the finances and the way that was going to go during that bout. Morrison at that time was very popular. I had a lot of things going on, and so it was a situation where you didn't feel as though you were being treated fairly. How much of that went into the way you handled that situation that day?
I would say half of it went into that, because I was WBO heavyweight champion of the world, and I was only getting, my trainer told me that I was only getting $50,000 more than Tommy Morrison, that the guy that I was fighting. And I asked them why, and they said they don't know. He said, if you want to know, just call Bob Arum. So, I called Bob Arum and I asked him. I said, Bob, how come if I'm the champion, I'm only getting $50,000 more than Tommy Morrison? And he told me, he says, because he's white. And I was like, oh man, and so that made me a little angry a little bit, but I was more concerned about the money, because I'm not a racist or anything else. I was concerned about the money, so it was not a racist thing, it was the money thing, and it could have been white, black, yellow, anything. If I'm only getting $50,000 more than you, and I'm the champion, I'm gonna question that with anybody. So it's not a racial thing; it was just a money thing.
Right.
That's all it was.
So here you go. You going into the
me and Tommy Morrison, before he went, we were friends. I just talked to his mom about 4 months ago.
Well, you know what? And so I was going to actually ask you about that. So since you brought it up, let's go ahead and jump forward to that, because obviously we know that was business, and of course, as competitors in the ring, you're doing what you do. And so I wanted to ask you though, when you heard about him contracting HIV and then ultimately hearing about his passing away, do you remember where you were and what you thought of when you heard that information?
Ooh, I don't know where I was, but I was shocked. I was really shocked, and his wife tried to this day say that he still didn't die of AIDS. And, he did. They tried to get me to fight him over in Canada, because they didn't think that I would want to test to see if he had AIDS or anything. And I told them I got on the interview with somebody there, and I told them that they asked me if I would get tested, want to get tested, not if I fight Tommy Morrison. I said, of course I would. And she heard that, and we ended the interview, and then she called me back, and she was not happy about what I had said, but I was just telling the truth, I'm not fighting anybody with AIDS, unless they're tested before the fight or whatever and come up negative. I would be a fool to fight somebody that's out there, he got AIDS, and they're not letting him fight in the United States, but he's going to Canada to fight, and saying that he don't have it, which he did. He ended up dying because of that, which was a shame.
I can imagine, I can imagine how tough, that must have been for you. So, so let's go here, ladies and gentlemen. I am David Austin here with Championship Rounds, brought to you by Red Hour. Guys, make sure you are here with us for Box Fest, February 2nd, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to miss that. Quashawn Toller is going to be taking on Vlad Pannon in the main event. Make sure you guys are here for that. So we're talking with Ray Mercer right now, former WBO World Heavyweight Champion, former heavyweight Olympic gold medal. Well, actually, Olympic gold medalist. You're never a former Olympian. So, you're Olympic champion always. You're never former. So, but after talking about the Morrison thing, right, and feeling a little bit, everybody's seen a little bit about Cat Williams and his interview with Shannon Sharp on that Club Shay Shay thing, right? And some of the things that he said. Have you ever felt like doing that? Have you ever felt like unloading and just telling all the secrets, Ray? Have you ever felt like doing that?
Yeah, sometimes, what I'm saying, when there's a little alcohol involved. Sometimes when there's alcohol involved, man, a lot of things come out. Probably not all at one time, but you really feel like sometimes you want to just talk about things more. I mean, that's how it is with me. Alcohol does what alcohol does. As a matter of fact, this year, I quit a day before New Year's. I quit drinking, so I'm no longer drinking alcohol.
Oh, I love it. Look at that. That's breaking news here on Championship Round. Okay, so let's go here. Right? So let's get back into the ring real quick. How about we talk about, we got a former world heavyweight champion right here. So we have to talk about the heavyweight division. And so, of course, you can't do that without talking about the loss by Deontay Wilder here recently to Parker, right? The co-main event, with Joshua. What do you think about that situation and how Deontay Wilder looked in that bout and what the future holds in your mind for a boxer like him right now?
Deontay Wilder, like I've always said, he needs to learn how to box. And, you think he had all this time off that he would learn something about it, throwing a jab or whatever. And then, depend on something else besides power. And I think he did the same thing that he usually does, but he just couldn't connect this time. I think he just need to get a new trainer, get in the gym, and work on boxing, man. Really work on boxing, and then get in there. And I mean, he had his run. He had a great run. He made a lot of money and everything. But if he wants to continue on making money, he cannot look like he looked his last fight. I mean, it was just ridiculous to even call him a heavyweight champ. But if you're not fighting for a title, sometimes you don't train as hard. And I think but he did have a big fight coming after that one, so that would have been the motivation for me to train and beat this guy. But he didn't have that. I don't know. I don't know if he got too much money or whatnot, man, but he did not train for that fight. And like I said, he needs to go and learn how to box.
I mean, but Ray, you talk about getting another trainer. That's something that we've heard other people talk about. He famously, fired Mark Breland, after the second fight with Tyson Fury, right? And is there any of us who believe that Mark Breland doesn't know how to box? I don't know if it's just about having the trainer that is going to teach him the right way. Maybe we're dealing with a situation where he just doesn't have a trainer that he respects enough to listen to the changes that they're asking him for.
You know what? I couldn't have put it better. That's the best I've ever heard it said right there. But Mark Breland can definitely box. And
Right.
you know, sometimes you get a hard-headed guy that won't listen to you and whatnot, don't really believe me, and they don't listen to you. And there's nothing you can do about that.
Right.
You know, if you got a guy like me, sometimes I was hard-headed to my trainers. You know, I would never disrespect them and not do what they tell me to do. But sometimes you cut the run short, and, you know, stuff like that.
Right. So when I saw
every fighter goes through.
So when I got a chance to see you, go ahead, Ray.
Go ahead.
So when I got a chance to see Wilder, when we had the third fight with Fury, and he comes to the ring, and he takes his robe off, and you can see he's put on some muscle. You know, he's put on maybe 20, 25 pounds of muscle. You can just see it in his body, maybe even more than that. And when he took his robe off and I saw that additional muscle, the first thing that went through my mind was he's going to lose tonight because he hasn't been working on boxing.
Yes, been working on just the body. And he lost.
And so when you see that, Ray, do you think to yourself like, man, I came along at the wrong time?
Man, every day you just don't even know, man. Deontay Wilder is the luckiest guy in the world, believe me. And I guarantee you, a lot of fighters that was back in my era saying the same exact thing. Same exact thing. He wouldn't have went anywhere back in the day. He wouldn't have went anywhere not knowing how to box.
I agree with you 100%. And a Tyson Fury does have better boxing skills. But even when you look at a Tyson Fury, right, when you just look at his body, right, the shape that he is or isn't in, however you want to look at that, you know, when you think about that, right, but Tyson Fury is, you know, he's the king of the hill right now. And when you look at that he's not even in shape, physically not in shape, like he doesn't appear to do much of anything.
Yeah.
When you look at it that way, is the heavyweight division that soft, or is Tyson Fury the single greatest boxing specimen we've ever seen? Because it would have to be one of those two. If you don't even have to exercise, you can come and dominate. So which one is it?
Right. Can you repeat that right quick again?
I mean, is the heavyweight division soft, or is Tyson Fury just that fantastic?
No, I think the heavyweight division is definitely soft. It's definitely soft. But I do like Tyson Fury because he can box a little bit. But I tell you, with the way he looks and the way Dion Wilder, you would just look and think Deontay would just tear him apart, you know. But I fought a guy too to get the WBO title. I fought Francisco Damiani, and he's shaped similar. And I thought that he was out of shape and everything. I thought he was not fast or nothing, but he was everything that I thought he wasn't. Believe me, he was fast. He was a southpaw. He beat me for 9 rounds. I got one lucky punch in that I used to practice on the bag all the time, and I never threw it in a fight. And I had nothing else to throw but that, and I threw it, and it landed. It was an up jab, and it landed right in the tip of his nose, and he went down, and I was there with jumping the world. I just could not believe it. It was, but the more the story is, looks can be very deceiving. That guy can move. He was fast. He was everything. Like I said, that he looked like he wasn't. He was.
I tell you what. Okay.
9 rounds. Didn't win not one.
You know, so I'm David Austin, ladies and gentlemen. We're still here, championship rounds. I'm talking to my guy Sarge. You know, merciless Ray Mercer, former WBO world heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist. How about we go here? Let's gossip a little bit. We here. Let's gossip a little bit. Clarissa Shields, everybody talking about that too. Her getting dropped in sparring. You know, sparring with a guy. Something that happened multiple years ago, but resurfaced recently, and she's made a pretty big stink about it. You know, what do you think about her reaction to that video coming out?
Oh man, I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it, and she's making a lot of noise. She's really about it, and making noise, excuses, and all that other stuff. I say that happened way in the past, man. Just forget about that and drive on. I mean, the more you pay attention to something like that, the more people gonna pay attention to it. And I say, yeah, it's in the boxing game, you're gonna get knocked down, especially if you're boxing with a guy. You shouldn't have that much pride as a woman that you get knocked out by the guy and you be embarrassed. I mean, that's just crazy right there. That's just she is a woman and the guy is a guy. And if she's fighting the guy, I've got to pick the guy. because the guys are stronger. I mean, all depends on what type of guy, you know.
Right.
But championship type of guys, you know, probably knock her down again. I mean, it probably knock her down again. But
right.
she's
I mean,
got
but
a
this
lot
is a
of,
lady
I mean,
who has
she got
actually
a lot of
challenged.
pride.
Lady who has actually challenged Keith Thurman. Like seriously, he's like wanting to get in the ring, you know, with Keith Thurman.
That I you know what? I make a lot of money on that night because I know Keith Thurman would knock her out. I know that just by the way she's calling him out, I know what he has to go through with this. This is like the worst question that he gets this question every day.
Right.
Well, how would you do against, you know, and I already know he would knock her out. Because there is a difference between females and males.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am David Austin with the Championship Rounds. We're still here. Ladies and gentlemen, my guy, Ray Mercer. How about we go here, Ray? A lot of talk about Tank Davis and Devin Haney. Everybody wants them to get into the ring and box. And the word is that Tank's team wants a rehydration clause because he doesn't want the guy coming in too big, you know, when they box. It's one of the things they brought up when they talked about his bout with Ryan Garcia. And now they're talking about it with his prospective bout, possibly with Devin Haney. We've heard, if heard correctly, that Devin Haney came in at 165 for his bout with Regis Prograis. Great win over Prograis, one I predicted. And so now here we go. People are trying to say negative things about Tank. They're trying to call him out, you know, and questioning him because there's talk of the rehydration clause. Is he wrong? What do you think of that?
I don't think he's wrong at all, man, because a couple of pounds makes a lot of difference, man. The weight is very important. That's why they have weight classes. The more weight, the more you weigh, the more powerful your punches are going to be. And if you allow somebody to get in there that's stronger, bigger, and stronger than you, you're likely to get knocked out or get beat or get caught with a good shot. So I think he's looking out for himself. I think he has good people talking in his ear, letting him know what to do. And I think they're telling him to do the right thing with that. And I also think if he's in Tank's range, Tank he's tough. He's strong. All it takes is one punch with him. And you know, so I really believe in Tank, and I think him and his people are doing the right thing.
I agree with that as well. You know, we have weight classes for a division. I mean, wouldn't it have been nice to have a super heavyweight division so you wouldn't have to get into the ring with guys that weigh 30, 40 pounds more than you, right?
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you that's why I can tell you right now that pounds make a difference in the power, because you don't want to fight anybody that's bigger and stronger than you are, and that's what would happen if they didn't have weight classes. And I wish they did have with a super heavyweight, so I wouldn't have to fight all them big old guys, you know. But you know, the big thing about that is the super heavyweight guys, they're a little slower, but you know, Lennox Lewis, them guys, and the hard hitting guys, Lennox Lewis and you know, Holyfield, I can say all of them. Riddick Bowe, I didn't fight Riddick, but we sparred together. And, you know, so you know, they hit hard. Super heavyweight hits hard.
All right. How about here real quick, since we're talking about, you know, the heavyweight division as a whole. For you, you know, don't give me Tyson, don't give me Muhammad Ali. Who is that guy that you wish you would have had an opportunity to get in the ring with?
Oh man, I got in there with everybody other than Tyson. He's the only one that I really didn't. I fought everybody else except Tyson.
Right.
You know? So Tyson, I was being built up to fight Tyson, man. And that's the fight when I was first turned pro. That's the fight that I really wanted. You know, I watched him fight Spinks. I watched everybody fight him. They were punking out and all that. In fact, me and my wife, we were sitting there, we was watching him fight Buster Douglas in the room. And then, you know, they was grooming me to fight him. And he got his butt whooped. He got knocked out. I almost started crying. That's how close we were to fighting him. They were trying to build me up to fight Mike Tyson. But that was the only guy right there that I really did that wanted to fight. And I did fight. I would love to have fought George Foreman, but it would have been one of those.
Oh, okay.
You know,
okay.
It'd been one of those things. I fought my idol, and I learned not to. You know, you shouldn't fight your idols. I fought Larry Holmes. You know, he's back one of them old guys, sparred Muhammad Ali and everything. So I take great pride in that. I lost the fight, You know, but if it wasn't for his wife, if he wasn't talking noise to his wife while he's fighting me, then I'd have beat him. But he was sitting there holding the rope, fighting to hit me with a little jab and talking to his wife, man. That's what like freaked me out a little bit. So, you know, I got a little old time experience with that one.
Who was the one that got away? Who was the one that got away? Who was the one that you were supposed to get, you know, that you didn't get a chance to get, or the one that, you know, that got you on the right night where you may not have been 100%? Who got away? Who was the one that didn't get the business they were supposed to get?
Jesse Ferguson. I don't want to talk about him too much.
Wait a minute, Ray. You had that name locked and loaded.
Jesse Ferguson, dude. Jesse Ferguson. I got him back, though, but he got away that first time. And it cost me some money. He cost me some money. Now, if you ask me if there was a fight, any fighter out there that I want to shoot with an AK-47, I would tell you Jesse Ferguson.
Man, what you had against the boogeyman, Ray? Come on, what you had against the boogeyman?
You know, people don't realize, man. But you know, he was my sparring partner. We just went through some things. You know, we went through a couple of things. He cost me some money and everything. So, you know, it was a real bad thing. So I don't hate anybody or anything, but however I do feel about him, I'm gonna feel like that for life. You can believe that.
Man.
That's all. Jesse Ferguson, he's the one that got away. He wanted everything.
I tell you what, man. If I'm feeling some kind of way about the fact that you had that name ready to roll when I asked that question. And just for the record, America, I did not tell him I was going to ask that question. That's something he's been packing around with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. You know, everybody goes through something. Everybody got that one person, you know, and he's that one. Like you said, the one that got away, the one that got over everything.
Right.
So he is like Riddick Bowe, and I don't want to say this, but back in the day, Riddick Bowe and Dennis Lewis didn't get along too good. And you know, my comrade Riddick Bowe would always talk about Lennox and everything. But my relationship with Jesse Ferguson the same way. Same way Bowe talks about Lennox Lewis behind his back. You mean that, Bo? Yeah.
All right.
Something like that, right there.
This is Championship Rounds. I'm still talking to my guy, former world champion, my guy Ray Mercer. How about we go here? I'm not gonna keep you any further, but I tell you what. How about we wrap up right here? I want to ask you this question. You know, you got into the game at 23. You know, already in the military, right? Had already lived a little bit, much more than the standard boxer. So I will ask you this, Ray. How much different would the history of the heavyweight division be if Ray Mercer had found boxing at 10 years old?
Woo! I think they'd be calling me 4-time world champion in 4 divisions, something like that. You know, something like James Toney, man. That's my boy right there. I want to be just like James Toney, you know. But you know, the damage, you know, that you get boxing from 10 years old, I'd want to stay away from that. So I think the younger you start, it's not so good, you know. So I always tell people, you know, with kids that's like 13 to 12, you know, don't really spar them or fight them. Just train them and teach them, you know. But I know it's hard to do that and not fight. You know, not fight somebody, but you know, I just think the brain is still developing, and I think you should give it time too. And that's just the way I think about, you know, boxing at a young age. I've always said that. So I'm glad I started when I was 23, and I still got my senses, a little bit of them. I mean, if you ask my wife, I don't have any, but I still think I'm still good to go.
You know, a little bit of it. I tell you what, I think it would have been great to see you at the time. Before you go, I wanted to ask, I thought of something. I just wanted to ask you. Again, we're talking about the Olympic year, ladies and gentlemen. And so obviously amateur boxing, you know, is in the forefront of that. Of course, one of the major sports that we have in the Summer Olympics. You know, USA Boxing just recently announced that they're now implementing legislation, if you will, that would allow for transgender, you know, females to box, you know, in in with USA Boxing. Having won the gold medal, participated in the amateurs at the highest level, obviously going to the Olympics. Is that something? When you hear that, what does that bring to mind to you when you hear that thing, those changes coming about? How does that make Ray Mercer, the Olympian, feel about that?
It makes me sick. It really makes me sick because it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. You shouldn't have. I don't think transgenders should be competing in boxing with the women's boxing. Have been born a man. I just don't think that's right. Like I said, men are stronger and they're built different and everything. So I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair. I just don't. I mean, I got nothing against people that's doing what they do, but you just can't bring it into a sport that's going to take advantage of real women. I'm saying that they're not. If you're born a man, you shouldn't be able to fight a woman. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's all.
Well, there are a lot of people who share your sentiment. There are a lot of people who share your sentiment, Ray. So, I certainly won't argue with that. I tell you what, I could never argue with him anyway. My guy, Ray Mercer, Big Sarge, I got to give it to you. Thank you for joining us here on the program on Championship Rounds, brought to you by the Red Owl, ladies and gentlemen. And he's going to be a constant contributor. So we're going to talk to Ray quite a bit, man. I appreciate you for taking the time to get with me today.
All right, man. I appreciate it, man. Always a pleasure, bro. Always. Are you gonna be in Missouri? Are you gonna be in Missouri on the 2nd of February, on the 3rd?
Yeah, 2nd of February.
Oh, you be there? Okay,
yes.
I'll see you there.
You gotta be down here.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I gotta get you down there. We gonna make a few things happen.
All right, brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you afterwards.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right, be good.
All right, you too.
That is, ladies and gentlemen, Ray Mercer. This is Championship Rounds, brought to you by the Red Owl, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to miss out on February 2nd. Right here, make sure you get your tickets if you're going to be in or around the Houston area. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a great card, ladies and gentlemen. Headlined, of course, by Quashawn Toller and Vlad Pounding, ladies and gentlemen. 17-1, both these gentlemen, both with 12 knockouts. Somebody's record's going to change that night, and I'm going to be right here to see it.